Hello and welcome to Mojo Grip. Mike here. If some of you recall, we checked out the Bristell light sport aircraft here on this channel a while ago, and today we get to see it fly. Over the years, we've seen the light sport category blossom, so much so that today you have so many different variations and different aircraft in that same category. But two models that typically stands out in this category is the Sport Cruiser and the Bristell Light Sport. And the aircraft we're flying today is powered by a 100 horsepower Rotax 912 engine. This is the same power plant that you'll see in a lot of light sport airplanes. First impression is that the Bristell is a sexy looking airplane, both on the outside and the inside. Now, once you get in, the first thing that occurs to me is the sitting position. If you've been watching this channel for a long time, you know I'm very particular about the cabin space and the sitting position in an airplane. And I have to point this out in the Bristell. Once you sit down, the first thing you'll notice is that you're sitting upright. Now, this may not be as important to a lot of pilots, but for someone like me who suffers from some lower back and hip pain, sitting means everything. And I love the fact that in the Bristell you can sit upright and you can see over your column. Flying with me today is one of Bristell's chief pilot, Evan, and he's going to be piloting command for most of this flight. You should know that the model that we're flying today is a fully spec'd out airplane. Comes with a full glass panel, the Garmin G3X Touch, and you have a G5 backup display right in the middle. The Bristell was fairly easy to taxi, and the run-up went rather quickly. Remember, in the Rotax 912 engine, you have an ECU, so you don't have a propeller or a mixture to play with. Everything is done for you electronically. Once we were ready to take off, we put the full power in, and right off the ground, within 500 feet, this airplane was right in the air. In the climb out, expect north of 700 feet per minute in the Bristell, even when you're fully loaded with two adults in the airplane. Now, I should mention that on this day, it was fairly cool outside. The temperature was anywhere from 30 to about 45 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, cruising along, the first thing you notice when you grab a stick in the Bristell, it's how heavy it is. This is what I told Evan during our flight, and perhaps that was the wrong choice of word. What I really meant to say is that when you hold onto that stick, it feels really sturdy. I say that because a lot of airplanes, when you get in an airplane with a stick, the stick is freely moving. Okay, without touching it, it can move all over the place, especially in the light sport category. Except in the Bristell, what I love most about it is that when you grab on that stick and you put it to the right or to the left, it stays wherever you put it. And for a minute there, it didn't feel like I was flying a light sport airplane. So that goes on to say that if you bought this airplane or if you're renting this airplane to use it as a trainer, expect to be flying a quality airplane that wouldn't even feel like you're flying a light sport. One of the reasons many pilots opt for a Bristell is the visibility. I mean, you would need to sit in this cockpit to understand. You can look to the right or left all the way to the end of your shoulders and you're still seeing out of this cabin. It's just amazing. The Sport and Light Sport doesn't always stand for sporty, but in a Bristell, not only do you have an airplane that looks sporty, but it really does fly like one. Your cruise speed in the Bristell is anywhere from 110 to 120 knots. You gain some altitude, you might be able to push even more than that. Flying 120 knots is equivalent to a little over 130 miles per hour, and that's plenty to take you on a cross-country flight, which you can very well use a Bristell airplane for. Now, coming back to land, I thought the Bristell handled itself very nicely. From the approach all the way to touching down, we pretty much touched down in just as much distance as we used in taking off. When I think who is this airplane for, it's clearly not for every pilot. A base Bristell will cost you anywhere from $160,000 to $170,000. Now, you spec it out fully loaded as the one we're flying today, you're looking at north of $200,000, which some may think is a little overpriced for a light sport airplane. But when you compare the capabilities of a Bristell to a standard 172 Cessna or any certified airplane in that category, you're pretty much getting the same performance. Except with a light sport, you're only carrying 2 people. So there's your compromise. And if you want a modern airplane that not only looks good, but is just as impressive in its flying characteristics, you definitely want to check out a Bristell. And the good news for more excited pilots is the fact that you can actually fit a Rotax 915 in a Bristell airplane, although that would take you out of a light sport category and put you in the experimental category. Okay, and that is all I have for you in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give a thumbs up. Again, my name is Mike. Thank you so much for watching. If this is your first time, be sure to hit that subscribe button for me and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'll catch you on the next video.